Hello, I'm here with Harvey Deutschendorf. Thank you for joining me. And Harvey is an internationally known author and speaker. He wrote the book, The Other Kind of Smart, super practical ideas and tips on how to become more emotionally intelligent. It's published in 4 languages. He's joining me today, and we're going to dive in specifically around why emotional intelligence is so important in becoming more balanced, well-rounded, and effective leaders. So Harvey, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Travis. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've had the opportunity to, travel the world, give talks with all kinds of crazy successful entrepreneurs and some of the most successful CEOs and executive leaders in the world. So I'm sure by now you have picked up the importance of your craft and what you teach and what you talk about. So let's dive into that. Let's start with up and coming leaders, emerging leaders, or even seasoned leadership. Why is emotional intelligence and the competencies that go along with emotional intelligence, why are they important for leadership?
Well, they're important, Travis, because we now know that the success of an organization overall is dependent to a large degree by the emotional intelligence of the leadership of the organization, because that's where everything starts. To develop an emotionally intelligent organization, and that's one in which people are giving their most effort. They're highly engaged. They want to stay with the organization. And it attracts other people who are bright people. Things like that. The important thing is for the leader to recognize people, to be able to appreciate people, to be able to promote the right people, and that is hugely important. And for that, a leader has to be aware. First of all, they have to be aware of their emotions. They have to be aware of how they come across to others. They have to, in some way, have empathy. They have to care about people. They have to. So that's hugely important. The one example that I talk about a lot in my book is an organization that has been highly emotionally intelligent for years, and that is Southwest Airlines. And it starts from the leadership. It starts right from the top when the organization was founded, and it still continues on. And this is an interesting organization because it is an organization that has very few different levels and layers in it. There's a lot of interaction between the CEO, the top management, right down to the people that are loading the planes. And they've built this organization where people love where they work. There's very little turnover, and there's high engagement, because you'll see impromptu parties will break out between right from the top, the CEO, right down to the people selling tickets. Everybody will become involved, and the organization looks to bring out the personality traits of people. If you've ever flown with Southwest, you'll realize that the flight attendants are very free to show the best side of their personalities.
Right.
And the organization actually, Southwest, in their actually says their people come first. It's not their customers that come first. It's their people that come first, because they believe if they put their people first, that their people will put their customers first. They will be happy where they work. They will serve their customers to the best of their ability. They'll love their job. They'll want to work there, and this is how highly engaged they are. Is at one point there was a competitor that was moving into one of their into their airports. And the people, the Southwest employees felt so strongly about defending their organization that actually came to work for free to help load planes in order to drive this organization out. Can you think of any or other organization where employees would be willing to come in and give of their own time? This is how strong. This is an organization that has got, even after 9/11, they're probably the only airline that didn't lay anybody off. So to build an organization like this, the emotional intelligence needs to start from the top. You need to have the top management CEO that genuinely cares about their people, cares about their well-being, and so there's many stories about this organization where people are struggling, and the other staff, the other employees will basically get behind them to support them, and so it runs throughout the organization. People are recognized for their accomplishments. They don't hire necessarily the best or the brightest, and they hire the people that are the best team workers, or the best for the organization. So that is the kind of, and it attracts people that are good team players, and people right away will know when they apply for work there if they fit in, or if they don't fit in, and they'll probably know before they apply by the reputation there that I'll fit into the organization or I won't. So that's one organization. There's others out there that do a good job. I just can't. I'm just thinking of one right now. Nothing comes to mind, but yeah, it's very. Like I say, it starts right from the top, because unless the CEO, the top management, is very well aware of how they impact the people around them, it won't. Basically the organization will struggle, and we take our cues from the people at the top. So it's. Yeah, that's I guess, yeah.
I love that example. I have such a strong affinity actually for the people that I come into contact with. At Southwest, I've flown Southwest exclusively for almost a decade, and they feel like friends when I feel that personality. And it's interesting you bring that up as an example. I think that's really clear. I love that you're highlighting that it starts at the top, and there's a lot of research too that shows EI competency as you move past the director level tends to actually drop. It's sort of a ski slope.
Mm-hmm.
So beyond that, if you have a CEO or more executive leadership that is maybe bought into the idea of expanding their competency level into something like emotional intelligence, where do they start? What is the starting point to get on board with what you're talking about at the individual and organizational level?
Well, I would say the starting point is first of all to be vulnerable, be open to learning, be open to change, be open to the fact that you may have some characteristics that probably are not serving you well, and be open to changing those characteristics. Be open to learning. Become a listener. That's the most important thing. That CEOs that do well are listeners. They listen to their people, because people need to feel heard. That's the first thing. Even if you don't agree with them, even if they need to feel heard in any organization. That's one of the most important things. People who feel they're not heard, their input isn't valued, will not stay with an organization, or if they do stay, they won't give their won't engage. They won't perform up to their optimum level. So they need to be heard. They need to be appreciated. They need to hear that they're valued, that their contribution is being valued. And the leaders that are highly emotionally intelligent are understand that and
Right. Right.
make it about
Yeah.
they get your ego out of it. That's the most
Right.
important thing.
Yeah.
Their ego's out of it, and they're willing to be vulnerable. They're willing to learn from their people. Yeah. So
Awesome. I love that. It's a great place to start. And there's tons more in your book, obviously, in The Other Kind of Smart. Thank you for joining us. I know it's short, but we want to deliver a lot of impact, a lot of value in a short period of time for the network. And I look forward to staying in touch. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks so much.
thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. I know.